I believe this to be the get in sports this week. I don't believe that there is a guest anywhere that's appearing anywhere on television, radio, making appearances, doing interviews that is better than this guest.
I had Mike Trout yesterday. You would rather have this guy. I'm with you.
I believe the sports world wants to hear from this person. His name is Trey Meier, and he was in the Elvis the Kingfish outfit that got hit by AJ Dillon during a minor league promotion, lost his head, and it must have been horrifying to children. I can't wait to hear how horrifying it was to children. He feels a little bit of shame, but we'll get to that in a second. Stugotz is insistent on he wants to play the game of athletes whose name in sports would connote a funeral. So at some point, I imagine he'll be making an appearance over my reluctance with that.
It's who would eulogize a shoe for Greg Cody at his funeral.
Yes, thank you.
That's the game I'm obsessed with playing.
This is what you've been talking about during the break. But
Lee Lacy.
Thank you for joining us, Trey. We appreciate it. Take us through some of this first, some of the details of your job. For the audience who does not see you, what is your size?
So basically I'm a 5'9", 150, and I run cross country. So that could probably give you a good idea about,
wow,
the type of muscles that I have.
Is physical sports something that you were playing when you were younger?
I played basketball, but I never played football. That was literally my first time. Doing the Oklahoma drill.
Okay, what a terrible first time. We'll get to the details
what a terrible opponent
of how this happened. But how did you become Elvis the Kingfish?
So I was just looking for a summer job, and I've always wanted to work in sports, so I was looking at things that were close to me. I live like 5 minutes away from the stadium, and so I just applied, did the interview, and got the job. So I do the Mascot gig on weekends.
Is it a good job?
Yeah, I like it. Mm-hmm.
Does it stink in the costume?
It's sometimes, yeah, because it's really hard to move in there. And, you can't really see straight. You can only see out of the corner of your eyes in that costume. So,
how often are you in costume and you're like, you got that jazz hands going and your face is smiling, the Kingfish is smiling, but underneath you're like, I hate everyone.
You're deeply unhappy.
Actually, it took me a while to get used to it. So, like when kids would come up and ask for pictures, I would actually smile under the mascot suit. And so it took me a while. I was like, I was like, no, I don't need to be doing all this. So,
but shouldn't you, just to like be welcoming and warm to children? Like you should like have a is there any time like you're grumbling, you have an angry disposition while you're talking to people in the mascot suit?
To be honest, not really. I mean, sometimes people can be a little bit like annoying because their parents don't keep an eye on them. That's the one thing. They just let their kids run around and follow me everywhere. But for the most part, I like to be warm.
Have you ever just snapped on a kid and you like grab him and you're like, I'll eat you?
No, not yet, at least. Hopefully I never need to do that.
Send the kid home with like a horrible memory of the dark side of something that only the kid could hear, whispered hauntingly.
Mommy, Elvis said I'll eat you.
Do you ever speak?
No, I've never spoken, but I will say the first time I was a mascot, I forgot that I couldn't talk, and I accidentally started talking to somebody. And that's a big no-no in the mascot world.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that was a rookie mistake.
Well, it seems like this promotion for you was a bit of a rookie mistake. I wanted to go through beforehand whether AJ Dillon did that because he did not know the size of the person in the costume, that he did not actually know what he was up against, and he might have assumed that it was something larger that had padding.
Yeah, I don't think he knew what he was going up against. I thought we hadn't even talked or interacted before the drill, and so I thought he was just gonna be taking it easy on me, to be honest. And then apparently, like 2 minutes before it happened, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna knock this guy's head off," and nobody told me. And then I just get sent flying.
So you get up and you take a couple of steps toward him, and you have no preparation whatsoever to this man is going to hit me as hard as he can.
Yeah, no, I have no preparation, and remember, I can't even see in front of me, really. So basically, I was just blindsided by it.
Seems like a misery. Who did he say that to?
He told that to our MC, who actually set up this whole thing. So yeah.
All right, but put us inside the costume, in the Elvis the Kingfish costume with you. You are laying on the ground, and you're going to get up, and you cannot see correctly. You will not be able to see what's coming toward you, so you just have to take a couple of steps forward, scared.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. And, I thought he was just going to gently kind of push me over. I'm going to kind of exaggerate it a little bit. But no, I didn't need to exaggerate anything at all. So.
I'm glad you mentioned the steps forward, because I
love those steps.
It was my favorite part of the
Good on you for that.
Because for a brief moment, it looked like the mascot thought, I might have a shot here.
Low man wins. Low man wins.
Low man
He was
wins.
expecting something else, Mike.
Yeah.
I
What was
mean,
going through your mind that first step? Did you think, like, this is going to be a bad look for AJ Dillon?
The first step, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe I could get him. But yeah, that was definitely not the case. I thought I was low enough. And nobody's ever taught me how to do the Oklahoma drill before. So,
How do you get no coaching? This seems like a terrible liability for everyone involved.
yeah, no coaching whatsoever. I try my best though.
Did anyone who loves you or cares about you try to dissuade you from doing this?
So actually, when I found out I was doing it, I actually texted my dad. I was like, "Guess who's doing the Oklahoma drill against AJ Dillon?" And he was like, "What?" I'm not even sure he knew what the drill was. But he was like, "What?" And then he said, "You got this."
Yeah.
Which was, I did not have it. So, yeah.
Can we do a little recreating here? I want you to try to recreate the noise that you made when contact happened.
So I get up, I turn around, I get hit. Basically, I'm like, ugh. I just go flying back.
I was thinking it would have been a higher pitched noise, like, yeah.
Are you sore?
No, that was basically the noise I made.
Oh, he
That's
has
the
to
only
be
thing
sore.
That could have come out in that moment, I think.
Right.
But then, my head comes flying off, and so I'm just worried about all the kids in the stands who just saw headless Elvis. And so, I try to get back to get my head on as quickly as possible.
So that was your first instinct. I got to put the head on. So the situational awareness is actually quite good from you. Did it take a minute for, like, were you stunned? Did you come to? Were you a little dazed? Were you sore after? Are you sore now?
I'm gonna be honest. I was pretty sore the next morning in my chest, but it's a lot better now. And right when I got hit, I was a little stunned, and so I kind of got up. I kind of acted like it was supposed to happen. So I was like pumping up the crowd and stuff. And then
The mascot does. You're good.
Exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, it's a real pro.
But after,
And then I just put the head back on, went back to the office to recuperate a little bit, and then it wasn't the same the rest of the night, to be honest.
Right.
well,
course.
what wasn't the same? You were just the energy, or your head? Your head was fuzzy.
I was just out of it, to be honest. That was the only thing I was thinking about. I was walking around the ballpark. I was like, everybody just saw me get annihilated by AJ Dillon, and everybody's coming up to me. Oh, you just got rocked. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did AJ apologize or like?
Yeah, he apologized later.
Right.
I got an autograph from him and Jordan Love, who was also at the game.
Nice.
I got a picture, and so, but I don't think he has any regrets, though. I'll say that.
It was backup night at Kenosha.
Did he say anything about what his expectations were colliding with you? I know he said, I'm going to knock this guy's head off, but was he expecting someone who was bigger in the costume? I don't know how big the costume is, so I don't know what he thought he was going up against.
Yeah, the head is really big, so I think the head makes it look like there's like a big dude in there, but I mean, anybody can go in that costume. I mean, somebody 6'2" could go in there. Somebody like me, 5'9". There's another mascot that's way shorter than me that also goes in there. So yeah, I don't even think he knew he was going up against.
Have you ever been hit on while wearing the costume?
What, like girls trying to hit on me?
Yeah, like someone trying to get a number.
Exactly.
I have, but it's mostly been like
Other mascots?
like middle-aged women, which I don't know. I wish they were a little bit more my age.
That's the Elvis audience.
The Cougars
Yeah,
are trying
exactly,
to lure in the Kingfish.
Have you ever had the request of like, you know, it's going well on a date, and then they're like, hey, why don't you bring that mascot head into the bedroom?
Baby.
Wow. A
That
well
would be
lit.
hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
How much does the head weigh?
Hell yeah.
The head weighs a decent amount, actually. I'm not sure the exact amount, but yeah, it's definitely like it's like a bobblehead. It's like rolling around in there. You gotta kind of try to secure yourself as much as possible, and like when you turn your head, you gotta kind of hold on to it sometimes. So
The clip ends up going viral, but as you're wandering around in a fog, are you like, I was great there, or I didn't do my job? I lost my head. Am I going to get fired? I'm like, I did this poorly.
honestly, I was basically just thinking that it was my fault the whole time. But then we went back to the office. Everybody was like super happy with me. I was like, wait, what did I do? It's like, yeah, this is gonna go viral for sure.
They're like, please don't
And
sue
I
us. Sit
think-
down, have some water. How's your neck?
Did a lawyer reach out to you? Because there's always an attorney right
I-
behind
I
these things.
wish- Yeah,
I
we know
really
that.
do wish that you had appeared with us today in either a neck brace or a full body cast and threatened litigation.
Yeah, actually, one of my mom's friends actually said, hey, if you ever need a lawyer,
Of course. Yes.
I'm here for you. I don't need that.
Those 5 seconds before you got to the head, are those the worst of your mascot life?
Yeah, I can confirm those are definitely the worst of my mascot life. Just the shame of everybody looking down on me after I just get rocked. But it was all fun.
You'll always have those 2 steps, though, man.
You did. You will.
I know, right? Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Those 2 seconds of hope right there.
Thank you for being on with us, Trey.
One more quickly before you go. So can you recreate what the reaction around you was?
Like as I got hit.
Yeah, no, like after the mascot head goes flying off, like were there frightened gasps in the crowd? Were there children screaming? Like what happened?
While you were headless and could now see because you could not see out of the mascot costume, to basically bring this full circle, you run into AJ Dillon, you can't see. You don't know which way you're running. The eyes are in the wrong place. Now you have lost you're in a panic and you've lost your mask and you look through the crowd. How many horrified faces did you see? How many horrified children did you see?
I saw a lot of these. I don't know what this is called, but I saw a lot of those. But basically, I was just trying to make a beeline straight for the head, and luckily, I got some great coworkers that picked it up for me and tried to quickly get it back on. So
For the
that's what I'm
audio
pulling
audience, he
into.
just put both hands on his head like Tom Brady did when he won his first Super Bowl.
This will be dated for many, but it's like Thomas Hill after Christian Leitner hit the shot against Kentucky.
Mouths open, shock, horror, and
Like the student section in the SEC every time an opposing team hits a game-winning field goal.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was thinking right there.
I believe the college game day term and the internet term is the surrender cobra. That's what they've called it.
Thank you for being on with us, Trey. We appreciate it. Elvis the Kingfish works part-time.
Yeah. Good job, Elvis.
Yes, good
Way to
job,
go.
Elvis.
Good job.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well done.
All right, man. Feel better.
For those of you asking, I believe Billy is on vacation this week, and Jessica was supposed to be back, but travel in the United States and elsewhere around the world is an unholy nightmare right now because systems all over are failing, and it has now taken Jessica 2 days to try and get back as everyone is having a great deal of difficulty with flight.
I'm getting around just fine. I mean,
I wouldn't describe the way
first
that
flight out.
you're getting
First flight
around.
out.
First flight
You
out
gotta
is the
do
key.
first
Mike
flight
and
out
I have
these
discussed
days.
this. If you're not on the first flight out, you are playing a very dangerous game. I mean, you are.
Well, personal sacrifice goes
Yep.
a long way. You
Yep.
got to be the first flight out. You know why? Because that flight is already where you need to be
Yes.
in
Yep.
the morning.
First
It
flight
stays overnight in most cases.
FFO.
So as soon as you get away from that, that's where it goes all downhill.
Yep.
America at the moment doesn't seem to be making a whole lot of good shit other than billionaires, as you see all of the reports of how much CEOs are making more than their average worker in some places. And it all brings me to just what I thought were those laughably funny photos of a waterlogged Elon Musk being hosed off on a yacht and looking pink or not even pink.
You're attributing a hue that was not there.
No, forgive me. Actually, I shouldn't say pink. I should not say pink. It is.
He was closer to blue.
Translucently white. It looked like you would find a body 2 weeks after it had been found in a river because of how it looked, and he was being hosed off on the back of a yacht, and Stugotz, you saw these photos, right, Greg?
Yeah, I saw.
No.
It's kind of got the Don Nelson barrel chest going a little bit because you actually see the definition of some abs under there.
Way under.
Yeah,
but-
really.
Yeah, for me, the shocking thing is the lack of tan.
That's what I had in mind when I said people look better with clothes on than naked. Elon Musk.
Wow, what a huge chest.
He actually doesn't look like my dad and him shirtless have a similar
Similar
hue.
build.
Yeah, but
Greg, take your shirt off.
No,
real quick.
it's not a similar hue. No. Wait a minute. You don't know what a hue is. That it is not a similar hue.
No,
I've never seen
Greg's
a
got
hue
way more
like this.
color.
Greg has South Florida color. It is it
His
might be a
belly
similar.
really doesn't.
No, but
His belly, he's
what do you-
very rarely shirtless.
Greg, let me see your belly button.
What do you think a hue is?
Well, I'm just saying, like, isn't that like a color, like a similar? He's not.
Yeah, similar.
Like, look at his arm.
Yeah.
Dad, put your arm next to your belly. I mean, I'm the same way.
Yeah,
Like,
we
you know.
need to see the color contrast. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's a sizable difference.
The
Yeah.
Got a
Right.
little open wound there. I'm a little worried. You should get that checked out.
Yeah, I've already seen a surgeon about that, as a matter of fact.
Have you?
Yeah.
At
Cancer
4
is a
a.m.
real
during
thing.
freedom.
I'm having surgery live on the air next Tuesday.
Little biopsy.
Damn right.
Am I the only one who thought of Elon Musk's, the color of his body, that it's what a body would appear if it had been in an SS uniform and never gotten out of the uniform many years ago? Like, just wouldn't get tan or color in any of the places. And
SS is a choice.
That's really jarring reference.
you know, but it's a
Chris
it's
is
a-
very impressed with himself for nailing Hugh, by the way.
I was like, I
behind the
nailed you,
scenes.
right?
Yeah,
Dan
I got
didn't
it.
know what I meant.
congratulations.
Way to go.
Good
job. Good job.
It's my bad. Congratulations on nailing you. In fact, I got you
We
wrong.
did think that we were going to get you.
You and it.
With words, I'm like, damn it. Usually I fuck up.
We know.
I got you wrong on the front end by calling him pink when it's not at all pink. There is no color in the body of Elon Musk. There's not a vascularity. There's nothing there to prove that is a living body. If I cut off its head, didn't get it hosed down on a yacht, and asked you, is this a living body or a dead body, you would not be sure.
I'd call it Vanta White.
And the thing that I thought that you were getting wrong, Chris, is I thought that you thought your father is shaped like Elon Musk, which he also is.
I was saying both. I was saying like that looks what my dad looks like, the shape and
I
the
don't know.
Greg,
Greg, let me see your chest.
No, the
I just
chest is
showed it to
bigger.
you.
Elon's
No, you showed me the
chest-
belly button. Get it a little
Chest,
I'm
higher.
with you, Mike.
higher.
Elon's
Yeah.
chest is bigger.
Elon's got a big chest.
Yeah, that's flat
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah.
You
Actually-
gotta- yeah,
see,
not
my dad
too
is
bad.
very insecure about like shirtless. He looks good, man.
For,
Outside of the thing coming out of your
carried
belly
away.
for all
button.
the
Your
triple
age,
hops,
yeah.
Miller Lite you've been putting down, your body looks good.
He just eats nothing. He just drinks beer.
well, that's why
it.
it's just 3.2 carbs per 12
Thank
ounces.
you. Yeah.
My dad will have
I'm
a
in
big
training.
plate. My dad will have a big plate of pasta, and then 10 minutes later, there's more pasta on his plate than when he started. And he's
But the
killed
beer's
three,
gone,
And he's
right.
killed 3
Yeah, of
beers, and he's
course.
like, "I'm full."
No, you ain't lying.
It is.
You ain't wrong.
I've been amazed my entire life that your father can drink as much beer as he does because he's not like out here running sprints. He's not out here vigorously exercising. And it must be because all you're doing is consuming all meals as beer.
Well, I mean, we say that for comedic effect. Let's not exaggerate. I mean, I do have some caloric intake beyond beer.
Since we're talking about bodies and weight, did you guys see what Leonard Fournette is?
Yes.
The shape of Leonard Fournette at camp. How many touchdowns did he score last year? How much does the body hurt? Because the first thing I thought to myself is that dude spent the offseason healing himself and his body with just consuming things that felt good.
Playoff Lenny.
You look at his body this offseason, you're like, man, that guy did a lot of healing.
Self-medicating or through food or party or drink. 260 is what he came in
Yeah,
at.
he played last year at 228. So it's that's quite the off season for playoff Lenny. He should be able to slim down though. That's what training camp does. But I don't know if he'll ever get down to 228 in time for the season. That's going to be pretty rigorous for him. One of the best bets of last season was Leonard Fournette to score a touchdown and score the first touchdown of the game. They were very dependent. He had a very good season.
Well, he had double-digit touchdowns, and I wanted to know how many because doing that job had to be hard. He was very reliable for them as a fifth option behind Brady throwing the ball all over the place, and he scored a ton of touchdowns. I don't know many people, as Gronk's girlfriend is now saying that she doesn't think this is a forever retirement. I don't think there were many. Was there anybody on the team who scored more touchdowns than Leonard Fournette on the last 2 years? How many touchdowns has that guy scored? Because he's not the primary preoccupation.
He's had 14 on the ground the last 2 years, 8 last year.
Mike Evans has a shot because he was most healthy out of their receivers, and he put up some decent.
Well, he had 10 total. Fournette. He had 2 receiving, 8 rushing.
Mike Evans had 14 receiving last year.
260 pounds. Can you lose that? 30 pounds, no problem. Training camp, and it doesn't even matter. He'll be fine by the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably a little bit more worried about his age at this point. He should lose it. It's not great optics of walking to camp 30 pounds heavier, but they'll put him on a regimen, and he should be fine.
Yeah, given his age and his career arc, you would think he would show up in great shape.
He's 27.
But he's an old 27. Only a running back. I would only use the phrase old 27 for a running back who's had a lot of carries.
I mean, I lost 5 pounds since yesterday. Wow. Yeah. Well, slim fast. You were laughing. Slim fast. So one good shit. Here we are.
Old 27 for Leonard Fournette. He has been physically bigger than everyone since high school. He ran through the SEC. He's always been a physical specimen against, his peers. He's always been physically superior. Can you fool around that much at the height of sports and science where people are fighting for dollars and just be 30 pounds overweight and just lose it and be 27 and be able to lose it and just be the same guy? I don't know.
I think at 27 you can. I know the Bucks aren't happy about it, but he's 27 years old and has 2 months to get rid of 20 pounds.
This is it's 30 pounds.
Close to 30. Yeah.
It's more than 30 pounds.
And I don't know if we're going to believe the numbers that they're throwing out there. Dude looks big. Dude looks big.
I guess the thing that I would say to you, or I guess I'm asking you, is you've seen the levels that these guys will now go to for science, for healing, to get stronger and better at that sport where everyone's competing for glory and dollars. You can't really be so athletic that you half-ass that one. There are too many, like that ecosystem is like really unfriendly and carnivorous, and it's not the day is done of you guys thinking somebody shows up at the facility smoking a cigarette, like, and is 35 pounds overweight with a bourbon in his hand. Like, these guys have to all year
Good old
round.
days.
They have to all year round like funnel food as fuel, and it makes me want to ask Leonard Fournette questions about like, what were you doing this offseason? And not judgmental questions like, did you need your body to feel good because that game is hard and you wanted to drink a bunch during the off season or eat cake or do whatever it is that you needed to do to not follow the regimen that you now go back to. And I'm guessing is going to be pretty hard. Like you say, Mike, you lost 5 pounds in the last couple of days, but
just a day. I'll get down to 205 by the end of the week if you dare me.
It's a hell of a day for you, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah.
You guys don't think the science of it, though, is something?
What I'm doing is very dangerous.
It's 2 slim fast a day and then a meal of your choosing at night. What did you?
I don't have to count calories.
The 5 o'clock or the meal.
I had an early meal. I had tacos last evening at 5 o'clock. My wife is my wife and I had my grandmother over. My grandmother's 94 years old. She had tacos for the first time in her life.
Was she complaining about how early you were eating? Or
As a super follower, I saw that. I can't believe that.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you get for less than a cup of coffee a month. You get to see a photo of my grandma at
You've
94
got to stop
having her
shilling the super follower.
No,
around.
I
keep
will
going.
What has she been eating her whole life?
Shout out to the soups. So she grew up in the Dominican Republic. That's not local fare. She married my grandfather. They lived in New York. My grandfather did not like Mexican food because it was, quote, too spicy. So she just never had it.
Mike, do you have to eat by 5 o'clock? Like, is that part
I
of
just
the deal?
I prefer
Okay.
an earlier meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, Mike. My mother, who lived to be 97, had tacos for the first time in her life, very late in life, and always referred to them as tacos.
The Boston accent.
Yeah, tacos.
Fascinating. The last
It
couple of
was.
minutes
Thank
going
you.
She also
through Mike's
never had.
diet.
She also never had her driver's license, Nana Cody.
That's correct.
Neither did my grandma.
Never drove.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I wish they would have met.
Yeah.
Your
They would've
grandmother and
they
my
would've had
mother.
fun.
Yeah, Ruth Doogie.
My grandma's a hell of an entertainer.
Is she?
Yeah.
Really?
She'd make tea. Like they'd talk about a lot. They probably have a lot more in common.
My Nana's a nervous wreck. She gets scared over. She used to get scared over everything.
My grandma calls me Bobby a lot, and it makes me sad because that's my dead grandpa's name.
Ouch.
Former UN President Thaddeus Foote.
We shared the same birthday.
Chris Cody, Desus and Mero broke up.
Sad day. Good
And
run.
A lot of people it was a great run and an uncommon run. It is almost something that could have only existed over the last 10 or 15 years because they came up through just being funny on social media, becoming friends on social media, and turned it into something. And now the reports are, and this part is true, is that whatever it is that was happening in their relationship couldn't withstand whatever's happened to them over the last few years, where it affected their relationship and it burns out, more quickly than you'd like. But an uncommon story, and a whole lot of people who are following them back from the beginning when it was just a podcast and it's the Bodega Boys, and they just had a really uncommon chemistry before they were a late night show. Showtime now says because of the relationship and the Bodega Boys podcast is over, because I don't know if their relationship is over, but their relationship couldn't withstand being able to keep doing it.
They were ahead of their time. Like weed is nowadays, I feel like people are more accepting of weed. They were rolling blunts in our studio like 6 or 7 years. You should have seen Billy Gill clutching his pearls when they were rolling a blunt in that green room.
How did that go over when they came? It wasn't was it 6 or 7 years ago? Was it that long? They did come in. They did come in smoking, and everyone at Disney got very scared.
I
And
had
then
to tell them to take the grinder off the table.
Yeah.
And then they just housed the Clevelander restaurant, Lobster, and not surprisingly,
Dano, you tell people go downstairs, order what you want. I mean, who's not going to order the lobster?
They're going to do it and leave you with a bill.
Most folks
Yeah.
wouldn't. I'm going to say most folks.
most folks here, though. I think most folks here, most folks around here are going to do it. Most folks, in humanity probably would not
you
just
gotta do that.
over order lobster and make the bill something that's felt for years.
I
But
would.
how was Disney dealing with them blowing through here with weed?
We didn't really hear much from them. There's just a constant level of, I don't want to say professionalism because they're professionals, but they're, you subscribe to a certain
It's
way
part of
when
the
you're at Disney.
brand.
Yeah,
And the brand was strong, and now the brand is done, right? Now it's done.
that's what they're saying. I saw Desus did Mero finally go to Twitter because he hadn't had a comment on the situation. Yeah, that stinks. Shout out to us for
Dan and Stu.
let me take
And
this
Dan and
opportunity.
Stu.
I'm going
Staying
to take this
together.
opportunity to really pat ourselves on the back
Really?
for staying together
That's
through
where
all
you're
sorts
going?
of probably the same things that they were going through. It's it's a marriage. You got to work at it. Shout out to us for
Really?
being there for you, the listener, for all this time.
What I thought of actually was because Kornheiser turned 75 this week, and I don't know how long he's going to be doing it, but it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. That's a run. That's a marriage that has withstood a whole lot of shit. There are very few in the history of any kind of television. 20 years, two dudes, a friendship being able to withstand all of the garbage that comes with this nonsense.
Why is their run any different than our run or Mike and the Mad Dog's run? We've been together 20 years, right? Mike's been with us for most of those 20 years. I feel like Billy probably has and Roy has as well. It's a great run. You know what? Shout out to us.
Shout out to us.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah.
Well done, us.
Thank you. That was a
Well
great
done.
idea, Dan, taking this opportunity to really shine a light on our longevity because it's show business. It breaks duos apart, yet you guys remain.
The reason I was pointing out that one is because I would think that the audience would think that one is more successful.
Whatever. Why is that?
They do
TV, ESPN.
They do 30 minutes a day. You guys do 4 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then they went weekly. So
Right.
light work.
Yep.
What do you mean they went weekly?
Yeah, like the Showtime thing. Yeah,
We were talking PTI, I think.
Oh, PTI. Oh,
Yeah.
them? Oh, we got them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it time.
It's an easy job, don't you think? I mean, 30 seconds on a topic, boom. 30 minutes, you're done. Try 4 hours. In fact, do 4 hours one time. Get back to me when you're done. Seriously.
Tony
Kornheiser did do that for many years.
4?
Mail time.
This has been a path. We started talking Desus, then we went to us, and now we're crushing PTI.
Well, we're not crushing PTI, and we're not going to us.
I heard you say it.
So last time, honestly, guys, when's the last time you watched PTI start to finish?
It's a good point.
And you heard not on the background, not on mute. When's the last time you heard a Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, good old fashioned take? For me, it's been a while.
Yep.
It's been a while.
I love when Kornheiser pulls out that pad, though.
Oh,
Puts
great
the glasses on. My dad's convinced he's going to get Tony Kornheiser on the Greg Cody show. I've been telling him for 2 years. Dan and Kornheiser have like a solid thing, and he's been on, I think, one time in 12 years.
I'm working behind the scenes.
He's never going to be on the Greg Cody show.
I love the the bookend programming. And once Highly Questionable went away, I just couldn't follow the thread.
You say that because you live in your echo chamber.
Yes.
Do you know how many people not listening
follow
to
me,
this
please.
right now are saying, where did those guys go that aren't on my television daily in the
I
middle
get it
of
all
the
the time,
afternoon
yeah.
lineup?
There is absolutely a currency on just being on mute on the TVs and in bars and airports.
That was my currency. What do you mean? There's
Yeah.
a currency. It was the currency. I did not care about whether anyone heard anything that I said.
But I'm saying, yeah, for the optics of our show and you as a national personality, there's a lot that goes with just being on in the background.
Yeah, I saw that a lot.
Less people know me now because like 80% of the people out in public, like, oh, you work with LeBatard and his dad, right? It's like, no, I work on the other
Right.
show.
Yeah, I know Dan gets How's Poppy the most when he goes out. I still get How's Poppy. I'm like, I haven't seen the man in 3 years.
Kornheiser has been doing the PTI from his attic for 3 years. I don't think he's come back in. I don't think so. I'm not sure. But the last time
it's the same set every day. Yeah, it's the set of his attic. And I imagine the biggest hurdle to that was probably always technology. And once they got it figured out because they had to, I feel like Tony Kornheiser ain't coming back to the studio once he could do it from home.
No, I mean, Michael Wilbon did an entire year from Arizona, right? He always has that Arizona background. What's your favorite PTI background? Mine was Dan's.
Can we talk about Desus and Mero, please?
Why? We're talking about you.
But the yesterday breakup of Desus and Mero made me sad and nostalgic because their climb was so unusual. Because these are two guys from nowhere. They had two sparks from getting along. And for 10 years, they monetized it, more than 10 years. They were discovered.
It was 7 years, by the way, for Desus and Mero. The Bodega Boys podcast began in 2015.
Okay, so from nowhere in 2015, for it to flame out by 2022, when people were enjoying it, when people as art were seeing it as something different, as everyone's at the trough now, everyone's got a podcast, everyone is dudes or people interacting on social media.
So let's call it a 9-year run because Desus versus Mero was on MTV. According to the filmography, and then there was Guy Code. So they had made their way onto spackling some MTV programming when it wasn't just all ridiculousness.
A long time ago, I remember when late night television was a different thing, okay, and when it was always Johnny Carson or someone who looked like him, and now late night television still goes to those people, whether it's James Corden or Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers. In the middle of that, Arsenio Hall appeared, grabbed something that was young and cool, and it's what Desus and Mero did. And they made a late-night television show that was on Showtime that there just aren't a lot of stories like that ever in show business. The producer of PTI and Highly Questionable was on the original incarnation of Desus and Mero that was on Vice after Bodega Boys and helped make it popular. And what you saw on television was not just two people who looked and behaved differently than most of the people around them on late night television, but also brought all of the credibility of guest power because people wanted to be around them. And you would be watching a Showtime show and be like, how the hell is Obama there? Or like, what is happening here that these guys get whoever it is that they want? And it's because culturally they were so much different than whatever your father's or your grandfather's late night programming was. Johnny Carson, they spoke to young people in a way that was really unique. When everyone was at the trough giving all sorts of opinions, their mix, their match, their dance of how they talked to each other and how much that sounded like the bodega or the barrio or how your friends talk, it was wildly different from the starched concept of television.
And spark plugs came, or like sparks flew whenever you heard those guys talk. It's the only podcast that I can't listen to at 1.5 times speed.
It's too fast.
I listen to everything at speed, and those guys talk so fast.
Cinephile, you can do it 1.5
Yeah,
speed?
no, I can actually.
He talks very fast.
Right,
I mean.
it's a real test of my abilities, but I can listen to Adnan at 1.5 times speed. But Desus and Mero and the Bodega Boys, I absolutely could not, because you're like, you miss 80% of it because they just fly off of each other. And there's something in that personal relationship that broke down, but it's a unique listening experience. I've never heard anything like it.
Greg, do you have any idea of who we're talking about, what we're talking about?
I do, actually. And I remember Obama being on with them. I listen at 1.8 speed, by the way. When I listen to a podcast, it's a sprint. I go through it as fast as I can.
Huh.
But I'm curious, as a casual listener of theirs, not a devotee, what broke them up? Is there any scuttlebutt? In a situation like that, it's got to be ego, right? Somebody wanted more or different. What broke them up? I'm just curious.
All right, let's just go with what we know. Desus has taken to Twitter, and he has said, shouts to Showtime and shouts to the Hive. Thanks for being part of my journey. Proud of the show, my staff that made every episode. Big tings soon come. That's what he said. Big tings soon come. Well, Mero,
nobody ever says when they're leaving something, I don't got shit planned.
yeah. Well, Mero has only just retweeted the Desus and Mero on Showtime tweet that said the illustrious Desus and Kid Mero will be pursuing separate creative endeavors. Still nothing from Mero that isn't a retweet. What does he mean by that?
I found myself bummed, not just that it's over, but that their friendship couldn't withstand it. Because they could have had that show. Not everyone gets those opportunities. I don't know if they'll be better apart. Perhaps they'll be better as singular parts doing creative stuff. But the stuff that breaks up rock bands, I wanted to see their interaction. It was their interaction, friends talking in a way that was intimate, and they knew each other so well. Or they seemed to know each other so well, and their rhythms so well that they were making music when they talk. Stugotz. Tony and Mike, when I look at them on television, it's so rare. People underestimate all the time how hard it is to achieve that chemistry. You could do what Stephen A. Smith is doing, or even what Shannon and Skip are doing. That's a particular kind of dance. But the one that revolves around friendship and two kindred spirits who have the same comedic rhythms on stuff and can make you laugh, and this is the rarest thing in television, Stugotz, and these guys have it all the time, and it's one of the things that's infectious that I don't understand why you don't see it more on television. I think it's the construct and the starchness. People losing it laughing with each other because they're just thinking something is so funny. Not Chuckle Fest pregame show, just losing it laughing, dissolving on television. How often do you see it? People laughing so hard. Good Morning Football has some of that.
Yeah, it does. People discount chemistry and how important it is. We didn't know each other when we started. It took us 3 to 5 years to really get to know each other and get our chemistry down. But people discount just how important it is. Dan, most of those shows are better together than they are apart, consistently over time. In fact, I would say just about every one. Mike and the Mad Dog, all these shows, like they're just better together. Mike and Mike were better together than they were separately. So
I'm trying to think, is there another example of somebody that you guys can think of? We're finally getting to the comedy duos conversation after many false starts.
Is it an example of a duo splitting up and being the parts being better than the whole?
No, I'm saying a duo splitting up and one of the people having vastly more success than the successful duo had.
That would be Jordan Peele.
I mean,
that's a good one.
He's still pretty successful.
I mean,
doing what?
He's a working actor.
A lot of
I think
different
he's
things.
hosting the NFL Hall of Fame ceremony.
So far, I would say point goes to Jordan Peele.
Well, in terms of critical acclaim, but
both
he's been
wildly successful, though.
Yeah,
been doing
movies.
all right.
Movie maker.
That's it. That concludes the comedy duo conversation that you've been waiting for many years.
It's worked out for McKay and Will Ferrell.